Welcome back to another episode of The Hawk's Edge, where we are exploring the ideas, innovations, and the people shaping the future of higher education. Artificial intelligence seems to be everywhere these days, and every week there's another announcement, another tool, and another promise that AI is going to revolutionize education. But today we're going to take a different approach. Instead of asking what AI can do, we're asking how educational technology companies, like Hawks Learning, should think about building AI in the first place. Because creating great learning technology isn't just about adding flashy features, it's about solving real problems for instructors and students like you. Welcome to the Hawk's Edge, where we are exploring insightful conversations on teaching, technology, and transformation in higher ed. I'm your host, Valerie Kramer Bahl, and in each episode, we bring you real voices, challenges, and innovations shaping the future of learning. Joining me today is our Chief Product Officer at Hawks Learning, Cheryl Costantini, who leads the vision behind our product strategy and helps ensure that every new feature, whether it is powered by AI or not, is built with purpose. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
I'm so excited to be talking with you and sharing you with all of our listeners. So let's start with the big picture. When people think about product development, they usually imagine brainstorming sessions full of exciting ideas, but I know the process is much more intentional than that. So how would you describe the philosophy that guides product decisions here at Hawks?
Great question. It's actually quite simple. It really starts with faculty and students. So it starts with our primary users and what are they challenged with, right? I love talking to both instructors and students and understanding how they teach, how they learn, and what kind of problems they encounter along the way, because that's where you get your best insight. So it's really quite fundamental. It starts with who uses our products, who might use our products, and it's really developing a deep understanding of what their needs are.
Well, and we kind of skipped over a little bit about you. So speaking of talking to instructors and students and learning about them, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got
here. Yeah. So ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be involved in education in some way, whether it was playing, teacher and student with my neighborhood friends, or helping my mom, who was a third grade teacher, help correct her papers. I was like the best teacher's helper, right? And I come from a family of teachers. I also come from a family that had a very deep respect for the power of education and how education can truly transform lives. And so I knew that when I eventually grew up, I wanted to be involved in education in some way. And I found my home in educational technology, which for me was the right mix between, helping to serve the educational industry while also using a lot of my other skills that are more business related, strategy, coaching and guiding teams. So for me, it's sort of the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm sure your family is so proud of where you're at. So back to, building products and making sure that they're the right products. And it's not always just the instructor experience, but also the student experience. And, the goal isn't to just simply build more features, but the right ones. And I love that we focus at Hawks on the student. So where does student success fit into all of the decisions that are made?
Well, in general, we're very focused on improving outcomes. So we're not just focused on building features, like we're actually focused on solving, producing outcomes. So whether that outcome is enabling instructors to be the best teacher they could be, or whether that outcome is helping students learn, that's the outcome we're striving for. So when you bring the student into the conversation, it's really important for us to understand how we can support their learning. And that's why I love the Hawks student interface, because it is so simple, right? Learn, practice, certify. It's impossible to get. And it's not just a benefit for the learner, but it's a benefit for the instructors, because hopefully instructors are spending less of their time supporting their students in how to do things in the platform. And that enables instructors to really focus on the teaching, the coaching, the guidance so that student learning is improved.
Yes, making it simple. That's the end of the day. Keep it simple.
Exactly.
So, we talked a little bit in the intro about AI and how that's really just seems to be a constant right now. And it's one of the biggest conversations in higher ed. And everybody seems to be in our industry just racing to add AI into everything. And not even just in our industry, but everywhere. So, how do we at Hawks approach AI differently?
Again, we have to focus on the need, right? Like, what are we trying to solve? And we need to define the what before we define the how. AI is a how. AI is a tool that can enable you to solve that problem, but it's not always the best tool, right? And that's actually kind of the coolest thing about technology is that we have so many tools at our disposal. What is the right one to use? And that's where we partner with our engineering team because they know all the latest and greatest technology. My team is very focused on what we want that user experience to be like and what we want to actually improve. Again, we're driving to the outcome, which is to improve teaching and improve learning. And so AI is a tool. And I think though AI is an incredibly versatile tool, right? It enables us to either do things faster or personalize solutions and content more or even help instructors be more efficient. So that's, like there's a huge benefit to using AI, but it's one of many tools and it's not always the right one. And so I think being thoughtful and intentional in how you use it is most important.
Absolutely. Yes. Proof of intentionality. I like it. So, walk us through what happens when someone says, wouldn't it be great if Hawks could dot, dot, dot? What happens next?
I love it. I mean, I love ideas. My team loves ideas. And the first thing we do is we pause and we ask more questions to get at understanding, to really understand what we are hearing. Sometimes we hear things that are solutions. I wish that you could do XYZ. And that's a great idea. But we're also understanding, okay, what is that? What are you trying to accomplish? What might that look like for you if we did it this way? Because we're open to solving that problem in multiple ways. We don't want to just jump to the solution. So the first thing is, yeah, like let's understand. The second thing is that new information for us? Is that information we didn't already have? And if it's new information, then we need to go back and compare it to what our other plans are and understand how important maybe that new emerging need is, how big is it for people, and then figure out, do we need to adjust our plans? Are we still able to address really important things like security, privacy, stability? Like those are the things that are not fun or glamorous to talk about, but they're vital because it is imperative that we provide a secure and reliable platform at all times. So it's like reconciling that new need and figuring out how it might fit into what we were already planning. And we will adjust. We adjust our plans and review our plans pretty much on a bi-weekly basis. And that's one of the things I love about working at Hawks is that we're agile, right? If we get new information, we can make changes pretty quickly.
Yes, and I've seen us pivot with certain things. There is a need or a security issue. We make sure that we prioritize that and make the changes that we need to. So there's certainly a lot that goes into it, and it's all very important. Even though, like you said, it's not always flashy and exciting, but necessary. And I'm sure people are even surprised that some of the best product decisions involve saying not yet or maybe no. So looking ahead, education it's just changing so quickly. And in my experience, it always has. So what trends are you paying close attention to over the next few years or even right now?
Oh, yeah, so many. It's really an exciting time to be in education. I will say, because we're very focused on improving student learning and helping instructors be the best they can be, those are the common areas that we're always looking to figure out how we can help. And I will say that on the instructor side of the equation, we definitely want to help instructors be as efficient as possible in using technology solutions like ours, educational courseware, content, etc. Because instructors are amazing teachers. That's why they do what they do. So the more we can take away from the administrative side of administering a course, of setting up courses, of editing and managing assessments in the courseware. Like those are the things that we know we can continue to improve so that instructors can spend more time with their students, right? So those are, the primary areas, really helping instructors be as efficient really as possible so that they can focus on the teaching and continuing to drive learning. But within that, I think there are some areas. Like one is, what does artificial intelligence actually look like for students today in their future careers, right? And I think foundational artificial intelligence literacy is critical. And because even if students today are using AI tools, they may not always know the right way to use them, the responsible way to use them, what their use might mean for their own privacy, for example, or how might they use these tools eventually in a professional environment. And so that foundational understanding of artificial intelligence, the different models, the different types of AI, and how they can use them responsibly and ethically is really important. And we just launched an AI literacy module that instructors can include in their course materials so that instructors don't need to worry about teaching that stuff, right? Students have a reference point. But building on that, I think we need to think more about what artificial intelligence or AI fluency looks like. There's literacy and then there's fluency. There's a comfort in using it, that it's almost secondhand, right? So you need to address what is it? How do I use it the right way? And then build on that to how does this become part of the way I work?
Yes. And I love that when you talked about relevancy too in the careers and just making it, because I mean, even first year students, they might think, oh, I can use AI for everything. But being able to discern what is right and what isn't is very important and a skill they will
Exactly.
need to have.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, what excites you the most? Because there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what excites me the most is, again, at its core, helping teachers teach and students learn. But bringing it back to AI, I think one of the opportunities that we're very focused on uncovering and tapping into is how AI can personalize learning better. Because we know that student engagement is an issue, right? For students, they're engaged when they know why it's meaningful to them, right? Like why it matters. And so we are experimenting with ways to bring more personalization into the student learning experience so that no matter what career they may be aspiring to, or even what their personal interests are, they can be engaging with content that is more personally meaningful to them and really pull them into the learning process. So those are some of the things I'm really excited about learning from and trying and getting feedback on. I just think it's an incredibly exciting time to be in this industry.
Yes, so cool. Oh, and same. I'm so proud to be a part of all the things that Hawks is bringing to instructors and students and really making a difference. So let's wrap up with a fun little lightning round. What is one misconception that people have about product development?
Yeah. So it's that we develop features that we we develop and ship and deliver features. We're really delivering outcomes. That's why I kept bringing the conversation back to helping teachers teach and students learn. If we're not doing those things, then we're not actually building the right solutions, right? So we're really focused on delivering outcomes.
Yes, I love that shift in thinking. Okay, what's one feature you've been especially proud to see launch?
I love the new messaging assistant for faculty, so for instructors. And this gets at what I was talking about earlier. How can we enable instructors to do what they do best, which is to interact with their students, coach and guide their students? And we know that learning is fundamentally social, right? But instructors have a lot of students to support. And so enabling a personalized way for instructors to scale their correspondence with students within our platform was a really interesting problem to solve. So we developed a messaging assistant. So this is a way for instructors to communicate with their students, and instructors can choose like the tone or the type of feedback they want to give their students based on the student performance in the platform. And it will draft the messaging assistant. It's AI based, and it drafts a message that the instructor has complete control over, and they can edit it as they wish. Or after they take a look at it, like, sounds good to me, send. And that's just one simple way we can help increase the instructor's ability to connect with multiple students in a short amount of time, and really do that in a personalized way, but still giving ownership to the instructor to control that.
And saving them time.
Yes,
So much
exactly.
time.
Yes, because that one message is probably going to lead to another conversation, perhaps a face-to-face conversation or a Zoom conversation or a deeper conversation where the instructor can then help the student. So it's really about that initial contact and just encouraging students also, like, keep going, like you're headed in the right direction. Maybe think about this. So it's really the foundation of an engagement model with students.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. If you could solve one challenge in higher education overnight, what would it be?
Cost. I'll just say that. And it's cost all around. I've got 2 kids in college myself, and I cringe at those tuition payments, but I'm also really very lucky that I can do that. But that isn't the case for everyone. And so I think cost and bringing down the barriers of access to education is key, because as I mentioned at the beginning, I think all of us who are at Hawks really believes in the power, the transformative power of education. And so if we could address cost, that would make us all very happy.
Yes, I love that. That's not what I was expecting you to say. So I love that that was your response. So I think from our conversation, one of my biggest takeaways is that thoughtful product development, it's really not about technology at all, that it's more about listening and understanding instructors. It's about keeping students at the center. And whether we're talking about AI or any other innovation, those principles don't change. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for joining us today and giving us a great little behind the scenes look at how Hawks approaches building products and approaching or building them with true intention.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I always loved getting to talk to you, Cheryl. So thank you. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to learn more about Hawks Learning and how we are helping instructors create meaningful learning experiences, visit our website or connect with us on social media. And until next time, keep pushing the edge of what's possible in education. This episode was hosted, produced, and recorded by Valerie Bahl. Editing and sound design by Liz Four. Music by Ryan Hannafin. Logo design by Caitlin Neville. Our guest today was Cheryl Costantini, Chief Product Officer at Hawks Learning. This podcast is presented by Hawks Learning. Be sure to follow us and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.